Good day, everyone. My name is John Leonard Onagalio from BSITS2A. What I'm going to discuss today is how to run and download three operating systems. So, first is the Windows Server 2008. So, for the step one, before the step one, make sure you have already the ISO file for the Windows Server 2008. And also, you've already downloaded the Oracle VM VirtualBox. So, after that, you can now open the VirtualBox. And then, step two is click the new button, which is located here. And then, for the step 3, input the desired name, folder location in which the virtual machine will be located, and type. So, what kind of operating system? Is it Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and then the version. After that, click next. So, here we want to install the OS manually. So, we're not going to put anything in the ISO image yet. So, after that, we now proceed to next, which is the step 4. And then here you can specify the base memory and the processor that the virtual machine will be having. And then make sure that you won't pass at the green range here so that your PC or your laptop can still run optimally. And then after that, press next. Then for the step 5, specify how much hard disk space your virtual machine will need. So in here, you may not choose to click this one or to check this one because once you run the virtual machine, it will reallocate or it will put the something or will put files that's equivalent to close to 32 gig. So if you did not check this one or if you won't check this one, then it will not consume the 32 gig. And then after that, you can now choose next. Then here you can see the summary, but you can still edit the base memory, the processor later. And then after that, you can press finish. And then for the step 7, you can already see our virtual machine here running on OS Server 2008. Now we want to add an ISO image. So you must make sure to click this one first and then go to settings. Then here we can see the general system display. So in the system you can edit there the base memory and the processors. And for the audio you can uh, create a video there. And then for the storage, this is where we're going to insert or to down install the OS manually. So here under the controller, press empty, and then at the attributes at the right side of the optical drive, click this disk, and then choose a disk file. So it will prompt you to a file explorer, and then just open the file for the OS wherever you put the files. So just press the this file and then open. The next is of course OK, and it will save the changes that you've made. So after that, you can now start the virtual machine. So here, click start, and then once you click start, it will boot automatically just like a brand new PC. And then after that, you can choose whatever language you are comfortable with, but make sure it's available first in the diagram or in the options. And after that, next, and then click install now. So after that, it will prompt you to what kind of server or OS you want to download. So just choose the Windows Server 2008 standard full installation, the one in the first, then click next. Then after that, click the I accept the term agreements. the next, and this one for the installation, we want it to be custom or advanced so that it will not prompt us to upgrade or to input product key. And then for the next is here you can specify uh, the drive options or the divider of your virtual machine. So it's like the drive F, the drive C, drive D. But here for for installing purposes, we just create next, and then after that we will wait as our Windows is installing, and then after that it make sure to wait since it will boot two times, and then this one's not pretty normal since we have not entered a password yet, so just click OK, and then it will prompt us to create a new password. So enter your password there, and then after that we now have our virtual machine. So after that we want to quit or we want to exit the virtual machine. So you can do it so by shutting down the virtual machine as how we would normally shut down our computer. So shut up. And then the next one, since we've already created the OS Server 2008, you can now create a new virtual machine, and that is Windows XP. So for the previous OS, the OS Server 2008, we installed the operating system manually, but this time I'm going to show what's the process gonna look like if we're going to insert an ISO image from the start. So again, the same process. So put the name, the folder, the location, and then here the ISO image. So you can see since we've already uh, input our ISO image, we can edit the type and the version. Unlike the other one where we have to specifically choose what type of the operating system we're going to use and then the version of the operating system. So proceed to next. And then here I've already provided a product key and you can enter this one so you don't have to enter it when booting up. So you can edit the username, whatever you want to use, and then the password also. Then for the host name, it will put the same name that you entered here, but it will going to have an error since it has a space in it. So make sure to remove the space and then click next. And then the hardware, obviously, you you can choose the base memory and the processor like the previous one and the next, and then also the virtual hard disk, and don't check this pre-allocate full size, and then will give you the summary. So once you click the finish, it will automatically run the virtual machine, unlike the first virtual machine that we've installed the OS using manually. It did not run automatically after pressing the finish. So since this one it has already a or an ISO image, it will run automatically after we press finish. And then same procedure, wait for it to set up and install, and after that we have our virtual machine, the Windows XP. So we did not type any password like the previous one since we've already typed it when we're setting up our virtual machine, and then also the product key, so we did not have to enter a product key while installing or having to set up. And then to quit again the virtual machine, we would quit it as how we would normally quit or shut down a machine or a computer. And then for the last one is the Windows 7. This time we'll follow the first Windows OS 2008, in which we're going to install the operating system manually. The same procedure, go to new and then type the name, the folder, the direction folder, and we're not going to select any ISO image. So if we type here Windows 8, it will automatically uh, choose the Windows 8. So since I've typed the Windows 7, it automatically chose Windows 7 as the version. And then next, specify how many base memory and processors your virtual machine will going to have, and then the virtual hard disk space, and then click finish. So again, after finish, go to the settings, and here the settings, storage, and then for the empty disk, then click at the disk, and click the disk at the right of the optical drive. So here we're going to choose a disk file. Again, whatever you have in here, make sure that it's the operating system that you want to run in that virtual machine. But since I want to run Windows 7 Professional here, I'm going to select Windows 7 Professional. Then click OK to save the changes, and then click Start here, and then wait for it to boot, and then like the OS, Windows OS 2008, you can choose the language that your virtual computer will going to use, and then click Install Now. Again, in the license terms agreement, make sure to read it first and then next. And then same from the first one, we're going to put the custom advanced, and then you can specify the divider of the drive. So if you want to have a drive F or drive C or drive D, then click next. And wait for it to be installed. Again, it will boot up twice. And after that, you can now type a username and a computer name. This one we did not have this at the second one because we've already input the username and the password for that specific virtual machine. So that happens if you put ISO image right from the beginning. And then next, make sure to memorize your password and retype your password. And then since I don't have any Windows product key, I just chose to skip it, but it will still run perfectly. And then choose Ask Me Later for the approved Windows. Since we don't want to hear like install important and recommended updates, we don't want it. We just want our virtual machine to be running on Windows 7. And then set up the date and time. Okay, I choose here the Singapore since it has the same time zone as the Philippines. Unfortunately, there's no Philippines in the time zone, so you can just choose whatever country that is that has the same time zone as our country, and then choose work network, and then yeah, you choose work network. Since I think we're going to configure the IP addresses later, and then after that, wait for it to set up, and we now have our virtual machine, third virtual machine running on Windows 7. Then if you want to exit it, you can do so by uh, turning off the computer. And after that, it will automatically exit the virtual machine. So that's all for the installation and guide in installing the virtual machine. So I've showed the two ways on how we can install the operating system. The first one is having to install it manually, and then the second one is having to choose the ISO image right from the beginning of the installation or from the beginning of creating a virtual machine.